Hi guys, welcome to Target IAS. This is Harshni. Today we have with us Ms. Shrishti Singh, who cleared UPSC CSE 2020 with All India rank 78. First of all, thank you so much for accepting our request, ma'am, and congratulations for you on your success. It was very pleasure to talk to you. So this will be a very casual conversation. A few doubts which students usually have for the toppers, so we'll address those doubts. So first of all, basic, I know this most of you might have asked, why UPSC?
Well, UPSC was not my primary plan, but after I finished my BTech and when I started deciding for what I really want to do in my life, I thought this was the best platform for me to serve in the best ways possible, and also some life experiences and my parental guidance helped me towards this exam. And then I think destiny also played its part, and here I am with this examination.
So when did you exactly thought that I should start preparation right now? Like what was the time that you chose to start your preparation?
I finished my BTech during June 2019, and I joined I started preparing in July 2019. That was the time when I actually decided full-fledgedly that I want to pursue this paper and I want to be someone in UPSC. Before that, I had no idea, no aspirations of joining civil services.
Okay, so that was the time when you decided. So what was your bird's eye view of the preparation? Like how did you start? Did you face any dilemma while starting, or do you have the guidance like?
I think coming from a college which has a history of various civil servants, I had a good guidance, and one of my immediate seniors, she was from engineering services and she was preparing for civil services. So she became my primary motivation and primary guide for the preparation of civil services. Later on, because of her, I came in connection with a lot of seniors who were the primary mentors every student needs in the preparation to clear out the doubts and issues which we face. And once when I started preparing and I went into the system of UPSC preparation, I found really great people, mentors, teachers, counselors and peers who held my back in times when I needed them. This was very helpful.
As aspirants, we always hear that while getting into the preparation, we should prepare for the job. Like that's what we always hear. So how did you materialize that thought while preparing?
I think I personally always thought of this paper as a one day at a time strategy, which I always say to students who ask about this paper. I never thought that I need to be prepared for the final day when I'm going to join the job. Definitely it was somewhere in the back of my mind that I need to prepare to be a civil servant someday. But I learned at every step and tried to inculcate whatever I learned into my personality and into my thought process. That really helped. I think if somebody is thinking from the very first day that he or she might be joining the services, that creates an added pressure. At least to me, I was not a very confident candidate in the initial phases of my preparation, and I had a lot of self-doubt. So I always preferred to deal it in a smaller amount rather than taking the bigger chunk of pressure of thinking about what the job might be. I'm still not sure how the job might be, but I'm really learning and meeting great people these days.
Yeah, it must have been a great experience for you, right? Yes. So while you were preparing, did you have interview on the mind, or did you fragment your preparation like prelims, mains and interview?
Ma'am, this was my first proper attempt, so I was not even sure that I would crack prelims in the initial days of my preparation. Later on, once I got into this system of preparing and giving tests, and as I started scoring well, then I got confident with every day that yes, I can beat this exam. I am fully prepared, I'm doing well. But in the initial days, it was only like I wanted to do my best and then see how the result comes. I have always been very calculated and strategic with my preparations since my school days. So I always had this strategy that I'll follow, and I never thought about what outcome might come. I was ready to give more years to this exam. Thankfully, everything panned out well.
The crux of any preparation is choosing optional. So many students face this dilemma, like what should we choose? Without having any prior knowledge about the subject, you chose anthropology as optional. So how did you overcome that difficulty while choosing the optional? Like why did you choose anthropology and how?
Ma'am, I come from an engineering background, and I pursued my BTech in electronics and communication engineering. Sadly, that subject does not form a part of the optional list of UPSC. So I was sure that I am not going to pursue anything technical, because investing the equal amount of time in something technical would not fetch you equal amount of marks in the final paper, and it's more commitment towards a technical paper than it is to a theoretical paper. Also, with my sort of background and an experience in writing since my college days, I always thought that I could score well in the social subjects, in the arts subject. That was my first motivation to look for a humanities subject that would be good scoring for me. Then I shortlisted 3-4 subjects out of it, and I watched a lot of videos, and I talked to a lot of students who had given papers with various optionals, understanding which optional had been performing well in the papers. Later on, I realized that anthropology is a very strategic subject, and this subject has an advantage that it has a syllabus which could be revised multiple times. Even though a part of it is extremely tough and challenging, but with the right amount of guidance and right kind of counseling practice, I think anthropology became very strategic and very convenient for me. Also, with the various amount of study material which is available with anthropology these days, this subject is becoming easier to prepare than various other subjects, because there is a paucity of study material in various subjects. So I think these all advantages made me select anthropology. There were also students in the previous batches who came out with flying colors with this subject. That was also an added motivation. And somewhere in my school days, I always had this keen interest in genetics. And once I found out that this subject has a role in genetics, a part of it deals with genetics, it just made me compelled towards choosing this optional. That was my personal reason why I took anthropology.
You are from UP. You chose our Sosin Classes Institute for Anthropology. So how did you come across this institute? Like how did you choose this?
Sosin ma'am's video lectures were available on YouTube, and I used to watch it while I was searching for the right optional, and somebody told me that you should refer to this particular coaching's classes. They are extremely comprehensive, and within the first 10 minutes of the lecture I was convinced that I need to take these classes. And then I think within the next few days I applied in this coaching for online classes. The experience has been very fruitful. Ma'am was really supportive throughout my preparation, and I used to telephonically communicate my doubts and ask various questions in the online mode. Also, there were some tests which came with my classes. I also wrote those tests, and ma'am gave very detailed feedbacks on those tests. That also became very handy while preparing for anthropology.
So finally, I wanted to ask you, while writing mains exam or even prelims, we always have the doubt like how to avoid negative marking. Like many of us don't make a mistake of attempting whatever, even if we don't know, we guess and we attempt. So in that case, we have major chances of getting negative marking. So how do you suggest students should avoid negative marking in that area?
I think in the case of prelims, some sort of negative marking is inevitable, because everybody, even the most prepared candidates, are subjected to some number of wrong answers. But to avoid major negative marking, I think we should practice a lot of tests to know beforehand that how accurate we are in our paper. So if a student is more accurate, he or she should not take a lot of risk on the final day. He or she should stick to her strategy of attempting enough questions to beat the cutoff, because prelims marks would not count in the final merit list. But if a person is somebody who's having lesser accuracy in the prelims papers, he or she must first of all work on her knowledge bank to reduce the number of mistakes he or she is committing, stop the repetitive mistakes he or she is committing, and also increase the number of questions he or she is attempting, so that overall the negative marking is balanced by the more number of questions that are attempted. This strategy might help counter the negative marking, but some amount of it cannot be avoided. And a little amount of risk is necessary to beat the paper, because the paper is turning very dynamic these days.
How was your interview experience, ma'am? It's your first attempt, so I think you might have not even expected that you would go that far. But still,
Yes.
how did you balance that overwhelming experience of?
Once my mains result came out, I was in a state of, I should say, shock, a happy shock for a while, and then slowly it came into realization that now I have to prepare for an interview. And these days all the mocks were happening online. So for the first few mocks, I was very conscious. I made very small mistakes, like not making eye contact and having trouble speaking and stuttering even. This paper preparation has also this also leads to an amount of seclusion for children who are preparing. So when then coming straight from there to interacting with 5 esteemed intellectuals, it's difficult. But on the final day, I must say that the interview experience was very humbling. All the panelists were very gentle, and they just maintained a healthy conversation with me. It was a very heartwarming conversation for 30-35 minutes, and I really enjoyed the process. When I came out, I was so happy that I didn't even think that it was an interview. It just became like a conversation with very intellectual and very esteemed people.
Okay, so that must be very soothing experience.
Yes, I was extremely happy after my interview.
So, you want to share any one question that you were asked in the interview? Anyone?
I think all the girl candidates, when they might be appearing for the interview, they might be asked this question, which was asked to me, that because I was a young unmarried woman aiming for this paper, so one of the esteemed panelists asked me that how are you hoping to cope up with the twin burden and managing your personal life and your professional life, because this job is a lot of commitment and you would be required to have an equal pace and equal food in your family life, and once you have children and a family, how would you balance both of them? This was one question, and this continued for a while. They kept asking me counter questions. I think this question is something which could be asked to a lot of people, and I think people must be genuinely prepared with what they are aiming for in the after the selection part, and then answer this question.
That's important, yeah. So finally, do you want to share from your experience, do you want to share any tips or suggestions for the students who are preparing right now?
I think the final tip to me is always have a lot of patience with this exam, because this exam is going to test your patience, and be perseverant, be hardworking, because there's no shortcut to the hard work, and always try and stay positive, because there would be situations and days when you would feel so negative that it would be difficult to bear the pressure of the paper. On those days, you should stay very positive and just focus on your well-being first, and give a break to yourself from the paper, because your body and your mind also deserves that break. That is very common mistake which most candidates have been doing, and I see people struggling with it. just follow your hobbies for a while, because that also becomes important when you're preparing for your interview. They'll ask what hobbies you've pursued. So just keep one day in a week where at least for 2 hours you are just yourself, enjoying your own company. That helps a lot.
That handles our mental pressure also.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's it, ma'am. Thank you very much for accepting.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm sure this might be helping our students too. Thank you very much.